Hello everybody, it's Andy Mack here, just bringing you another COVID bench update, just to hopefully keep you all focused on the hobby, bringing some interest and variety, hopefully, to your YouTube viewing. So, just where I was, I'm been painting up my Prussian army. I'm waiting on an order from Warrior. I've recently received a further addition to my Austrian army. You may recall I bought an army, which was I had the opportunity to buy an army kindly from that had been a gentleman who sadly passed away. So an opportunity came to purchase that army, which I did at a good price. And obviously it's in a loving home. It went with my already quite large Austrian army. But I'm pleased to say that a few weeks back I was notified that there was another part of that army available for me to purchase, and which I very gladly did and very grateful to receive. And we'll paint it up and get it looking tip-top and with plenty more battles and fun of wargaming to come. So it's very good to reunite armies like that. And as you see in the foreground here, these guns, these are all part of that army, so that's will add to my Austrian artillery part. I actually quite like them because they're painted slightly off. You know, the Austrian guns were quite yellow, but I don't know if you ever seen the effects of gunpowder and smoke and obviously campaign, I would say, on painted wood or painted coarse wood, as the frames of the guns probably would have been, I would have thought. Then you do get a lot of grime on the areas, and although I'm sure they did clean them, I just think they look very good rather than the sort of glowing type that I think my other Austrian artillery part looks like. So that's very good, and they come also with plenty of figures, artillery staff, and I also got lots of Austrian minifig packets, unpainted, but that's fine. I'll paint them up and get them looking good. Some of them were already painted. Here's one here. Some Austrian painted up already, so they'll join the army I've got, and that's excellent news. So I got the box came a sort of camera box. I don't know if you know, standard sort of camera box size, full of lead, and some of it painted, some of it not, and which a few generals as well, painted generals, Uhlans, horse, good number of Austrian generals. Some lancers, yeah, excellent. Really pleased with that. That's excellent, just what I like. And as you know, I like the old style figures, so I'm very pleased. And it was at a good price, so it's even better. And I'll certainly honour keeping the army together and giving it a good home. So, as you know, I've been painting up my Austrian reserves. As I said, I've made them quite varied. Also, tying off loose ends. These are some Old Glory that I painted up. They're sort of shoulder shift. They're quite a bit big. Well, these warrior figures are not too bad alongside them, but when you put some of the officer figures are actually quite small, which is fine. But when you put them against the 20mm or near on 20mm, they do actually look quite a bit smaller. But when they're in separate armies, it has no bearing at all. I think that's absolutely fine. So I've got two columns of French at the shoulder shift, and which would be about 3 battalions probably, because once I've got command figures for them, which I did. I bought a packet of command figures, which I just did the whole lot, so I can fit them in easy enough with command staff. And so I've got two of the reservists here, and I've done all the other reservists for the 425 battalion corps. And then I've got 16 battalions of Landwehr, so again the warrior miniatures. But I say, when you're talking mass figures, they're absolutely fine at this scale. So I'm not really I just get impatient with painting fine detail. I do it sometimes, and what I'll probably do is, once I've got all the armies up together, that I'm happy with, then I'll start slowing up a bit and painting a bit more fancy. Because I can take my time, I'll already have armies which I can play with in the manner that I want to play with them. So we've got, let's see, 2 Landwehr little columns here, but there's I think 16 battalions of Landwehr, or is it 24? Might be 24, but 16 or 24. Then I've got here, so moving over slightly, this is a light division. Now, interestingly, Warrior didn't do chasseurs chevaux, so I've actually used British light dragoons and painted them up as they had a larger shako plume, which I've cut off, and I've just had them as chasseurs chevaux. No, they're not too bad in that respect. If I can find, yeah, I think they're passable certainly, and they're the shakos are a bit short. In my understanding, chasseurs de Chavel certainly in 1813 had more like these sort of hussar figures, or these probably can be used as chasseurs de Chavel, but as you see, their shakos are quite tall. That's probably more in keeping. These are from battle honours, but unfortunately battle honours aren't made in the UK anymore, or produced or marketed in the UK anymore. So I can't buy them, and I'm not prepared to pay a fortune for postage, so overseas posting. So I've had to move away from battle honours, sadly. I've also been doing the Reserve Cavalry Division, which is Cuirassiers and Carabiniers. So obviously, these are from Lancashire games. The Cuirassiers, I've already done a number of regiments of Cuirassiers. These are just finishing it off, which I will hopefully get done in early part of the new year. And I've also, tying off loose ends, these are the Carabiniers, the old style Carabiniers. I think these figures may well actually be for some of the elite cavalry regiments of the Old Guard. I can't remember what's specifically called, but there's a regiment in blue coats which didn't wear armour. I think they're sort of bodyguard type outfit. Name escapes me, but I think they may well be them. But they paint up well as the old style old style Carabiniers. And as you know, the new Carabiniers are the white coated ones, which I think was 1812 they were introduced. And these actually figures were part of the figure exchange they did with Paul Olber. So they unfortunately got a little bit knocked about in the bag. So I'll be touching them up and getting them just a little bit more varnish on them, just to toughen them up. But they're fine. I think the figures Paul came by, his figures painting is an excellent standard, and these are good. But I know Paul has a very high standard, so these are perfect for me, absolutely perfect for me. But they're still very good. And so as you see, a little bit knocked about. So just get some paint on that. That'll look great. And similarly, in the same vein, I've got a division of a large division of dragoons, and surplus to division actually, which again, some of them came from Paul Arbor, which I've painted up, and I've taken a little bit of time on because you need to obviously do the facing colours, and some of the sources I've been a bit confused with, because I have one source that'll say facings a particular regiment of this colour, and then I see a painting or something different, and it's slightly different. So just a couple, so I just got to wade through that. But I do have it's not so much the cuffs and collar, but it's the front facings, which I've got a little bit confused with, because I've seen some with just green facings, green frontage on their doublets or tunics, and then some with obviously the facing colours and so forth. So I've just got to iron that out. I'm not going to dwell on it though. I'll certainly move on but it has meant it's been a bit slower progress and just quickly painting them up. Also in the background, I've got further chasseurs de Chavel. These are actually, I think, chasseurs de Chavel figures, so early style, hence the big plumes, which I'll probably keep because they're quite colourful. And I've also, it's different manufacturer and make. I don't know who they are, but we've got the elite companies. So the bear skins, if that's what they're called, do look quite large in these figures, but they were large, and I say when there's only going to be one per regiment, so there's 11 of the figures won't have that bare skin, only one will, to get to the scale I play at, so it won't dominate or catch the eye too much, I don't think. So moving on, so you remember the 5th Hussars. I'm painting up currently the 7th Hussars to go with the light division. So they are minifigs which I'll be painting up. Interestingly, I clipped the side of the shakos, and they were the bell. These ones were the bell-shaped shakos that minifigs do for, I think, Russian Hussars, but I think they're kind of generic Hussars. But they're quite bell-shaped, and so I just clipped the sides of them to give it that kind of more straight-edged look to the French at this time, when they had the probably slightly higher looking shakos, or some of them did. But if you watch the duelists, they seem to be wandering around in high cordage shakos the whole time. So who knows? I'm sure someone does, but I don't have the stamina for some of the research at the moment. So I've also been doing obviously the cavalry for my warrior, so further artillery. Interestingly, the Prussian artillery come with quite a short barrel for the majority of them, so I'll be using that and putting those short barrels onto some of the other armies that I've got to as howitzers, and then use the barrels from those armies that are pretty interchangeable, because I use warrior for all my Bavarians, and I use the other barrels from that for the Prussians. So I've got Russian barrels, Bavarian barrels, and French barrels can be interchanged with the Prussian ones, so that they each have a higher proportion of howitzers in the army. So that should work out well. What else have I got? So I've obviously been doing lots of Prussian infantry. There's all in boxes down here, some of them, and elsewhere. Cavalry obviously down here, sorting out. Lots of sorting going on. I told you about these carts today from Gallia. These are Gallia carts from Warrior. I may be repeating myself here, but this is a second take, so forgive me if I am. But they're from Gallia. They're very good value for money. They do a number of different carts. So these were like a test purchase to see what they're like. They're quite large scaled, but obviously they add a bit of story to your terrain. So if you can clutter it with carts and put scatter terrain about it, adds a little bit of drama to your figures marching about, and that's what I hope to do when I do one of my big battles. Gallia, which are marketed and sold by Warrior Miniatures. They also do other ranges, but the Gallia, they also have a large number of carts which you can buy, and I think they're very good. This one actually comes with a canopy, so you can get I can't remember what they call it, it's sort of Wild West canopy or something along those sort of lines. So it's just a curving bit of lead, really. But I'll probably have it offline. And I bought some barrels as well, which you can scatter into there or elsewhere. So that's where I'm at, guys. So I hope things are going well with you all. I'll try and bring you more updates when I can. So very grateful for the opportunity to buy old figures. So if don't ever forget, if you have surplus to requirement, then pass them on to people, because it's a great way to start a hobby, when you can get things at a good value. I do get quite disappointed with things like eBay, because some of the prices they're asking are quite unaffordable, frankly, when you're talking at doing large scale armies. Maybe the modern want is for small scale armies, but I like to try and do large scale armies. Fill the table with figures is what I aim to do, so which is always what I do. So that's the minifigs, which I'm very glad to receive, and I'll bring you features on them as they progress. And I hope you all have a very peaceful and happy Christmas and festive season. And I hope you stay well the best you can, and obviously you can keep focused on the hobby, and do keep the variety of YouTube posts high if you can. Obviously we don't want to be watching all the same stuff, so keep however obscure, just post it up, and we can choose to watch it if we like. So from Andy Mac, from the kitchen, on about the 4th take, wishing you a very happy festive season. Take care now. Bye bye.